Coming.
Thank you.
It's not a nice situation that we find ourselves in as a country, as coming from, like you said to me just a few seconds ago, you've been there. You've been right at the bottom and you've worked your way up to the top. What the miners are doing right now, do you agree with the strike?
I think my sentiments go out towards the miners in view of the fact that there's been economic disparities in the country and there's been severe inequalities in income. That's a take, and that's guaranteed. You know, it's a fact. And I don't agree with the killing that's going around. I always agree when there's peaceful strikes and peaceful demonstrations. However, in the past, when I started 28 years ago as the first black mining producer in South Africa, helping companies build shafts and doing all kinds of production work in the Northwest, at that time was the Free State and Northern Transvaal in the apartheid regime. National Union of Mine Workers led the economic, political apartheid. Today I see this as an economic apartheid strike.
Yeah.
You know, it's an economic apartheid strike that is now taking, because we have now, we are in power. The political emancipation is in the majority of the people, but the economic power is not in the majority. And what I see to date, it's a holistic problem. It's not just the problem about labor. Many mining houses were supposed to have adhered by to date, 2014, as per the Minerals and Petroleum Resources Development Act, Section 100 of the Act that created the charter. That charter says the following: by 2014, not less than 26% of the historically disadvantaged South Africans should have at least owned 669 billion of value in the mining industry.
And where does it stand?
Of the 49, if you look at the 49 listed companies, then here I'm talking just about the 49 listed companies, which if they had 26% each and every mine in ownership, unencumbered net value. Unencumbered net value means ownership without debt. To the extent that you sell, you have a house and you haven't paid the bond, you still owe the bank owns the house.
Yes.
When you can't pay for that bond, the bank takes your house. Similarly with the mine. There's not unencumbered net value within the mining industry. So people claim they own, but there's ownership. It's not unencumbered. The net value has not been paid up. Hence, to date, the 49 listed companies are worth 2.547 trillion. That's the value. We have more than 49 companies in mining companies in South Africa. But if you look at that, you find that if those 49 companies had at least just 26% equity ownership, it would have been 669 billion. To date, we only have 2.5%, so which is equivalent to 63.7 billion. However, if you go beyond that and you look at also the other elements of the charter talks about employment equity. It talks about human resource development. To date, we would not have had workers complaining about the fact that they are not being promoted, the skills are not there. You know, it pained me when I once went to Wits University and I visited Faculty of Mines, and I realized that a lot of mining houses that previously, during the apartheid regime, spent a lot of money on training, promoting their own people, have now withdrawn those training. And, you know, without the training, people cannot be promoted. So you find that we don't have a lot of people who are black miners in senior executive positions. And if we do have, they import people from Zambia or Zimbabwe or other countries. What is wrong with us? We are reneging from that. However, if you go beyond that, you find that the charter also talks about, by 2014, all the mine workers should be living in family units. Now, what we've done, not me, but a lot of the mining companies that are reneging on this commitment, they have replaced the hostels with squatter camps. So you find that our people in Bekkersdal, Marikani, they live in squatted camps. For heaven's sake, government is producing subsidies. Why don't we take those subsidies of what government gives to the people of South Africa and bring our subsidies and build mines? Now, I'm not suggesting that all the mines are guilty, but look at where unrest is taking place. Unrest is taking, and look at where EFF, with the nationalization demands,
something I want to talk
have
about
gained
as well.
momentum. Okay? If you look at those areas, where's Bekkersdal? In the height of the wealth of the gold mining industry. Where's Marikani? Platinum, chrome, whatever, gold, lots of wealth. And we are the majority platinum producer in the world. And now you see workers in the platinum belt complaining that they're not getting paid. Now I sit back and I ask myself, could that be transfer pricing?
Yeah.
Transfer pricing means the following. I'm going to be very, very simple in my analysis because South Africa there is listening, and a lot of South African people need to understand what's happening in our country. There are three companies that I hail with respect, to the extent that transfer pricing is not exactly taking place the way it's taking place by other companies. Impala Platinum, ARM, and Gold Ashanti. Why? Their primary listings in South Africa. They are owned in South Africa. So when they take a mineral and they export it offshore, all that money comes back.
Yes.
So if maybe the mineral is R1 and they export it and they get 1,000 rands, and it's not the price. I'm just saying that because I want the ordinary person to understand
how it works.
Because we are on television. That 1,000 rand comes back. And what happens? The income that they generate is taxed. South Africa then gets the tax from the 1,000 rand income that these mining houses have gotten, and all the other non-listed companies that have the registered companies here. But now what's happening is the alternative. Lots of companies are offshore listed. So whatever they take cheaply here in minerals and they export very expensively, the money belongs there because they are owned by who? Canadians, the UK, people in the UK, Australians, or anywhere in the world except South Africa. Now that's what we call you transfer the price. Now I am saying the alternative to that, if transfer, and then worse, uniquely so, then others, they create a very sophisticated marketing company. It's the same company.
Yeah.
So the company will have a mine here and create a marketing company offshore. That marketing company will buy the mineral cheap and export it cheaply to itself and sell it expensively. The money remains there because that mineral now belongs to the owner that has purchased it.
Okay.
It doesn't come back to South Africa. Now, if transfer pricing was not taking place, would we have had some of our workers complaining about not being paid? Would we have had some of the mine managers complaining that there's no money?
Yeah.
Would we have had a situation where some of the senior mine leaders, okay, the senior top executives are remunerating themselves excessively at the expense of our people that go sometimes 3 to 3.5 kilometers underground, sweating to make who rich? Those 49 listed companies that are offshore listed, of which only 3 are South African. Please, South Africa, we've got to wake up to the call. The charter compliancy has to prevail. By 2014, the 1st of May, the Minister of Mines should be vocal and have the appetite for embracing this fight. Then we'll have procurement. What do I mean by procurement? By procurement, I mean in those vulnerable mining industry, small and medium enterprises would have been created by virtue of just giving simple things to simple procurement opportunities for them to provide goods and services to the mine. Let me just make some example. In 2008, that offered some sort of research that was done by DECT, which was then called South African Preferential Procurement.
I'm going to have to ask you to do it very quickly.
Okay. In 2008,
if you can do it in less than a minute.
66 mining houses, generated had about 65,000 suppliers.
Yeah.
Out of 65,000 suppliers, if those were BEE in those areas, we'd have to date at least more than that, because we have more than 66 mining houses. The budget for that was about 8.5 billion, of which the take for the BEE was 950 billion. So I'm saying if you procure, you'll create small and medium enterprises. I haven't even spoken about beneficiation. Why is it that we're exporting our ore abroad? And everything that you see here, the bulk of it is exported, and yet we have our minerals here.
Absolutely.
If we were to beneficiate, we were going to have a lot of the factories in those vulnerable rural communities.
Yeah.
And people would never have seen the need to come here and create deep sluits and squatter camps in seek for job. Whether in Joburg, we don't have a lot of job providing opportunities for everybody.
I think we need to put you in the portfolio of mining minister, because I think you have hit a lot of sensitive issues, but a lot of important issues. I wish I could let you keep talking. I don't even want to ask you questions. I just want you to talk. You can carry on.
But I won't be a politician.
But unfortunately, television, means we have to move on, and we have to get some sports news at this point. But thank you for coming in. Thank you for elaborating on your points. Very, very interesting. And I think we need to look deeper into this. I think we need to do an insert behind all of this. All right, quickly, we're going to take the market indicators, and then Valen's got your sports news for you.